Every day, everyone gets the same 24 hours. But how many people really use those hours in a way that moves them forward? There's a clear difference between passing time and investing time. When you learn to use your hours the right way, you start seeing real progress in your life. This isn't about working harder or longer. It's about working smarter with purpose and focus. What if you could make each day count so that by the end of the week, month, or year, you look back and know you grew, learned, and moved closer to your goals? In this video, you'll discover how to take control of your time, protect it, and build habits that lead to steady success. If you want to stop wasting your days and start using your 24 hours with intention, stay right here, because what you're about to hear can change everything. Let's get started. Number 1, start your day with purpose, not distraction. Every single morning is a new beginning, a clean slate, and what you decide to do in the first hour of your day can completely shape everything that follows. If you wake up without purpose, without direction, you're already behind. You're not starting the day with strength. You're handing it away before it even begins. That's how most people live. They wake up and immediately reach for their phones. Notifications, messages, other people's lives right from the start. And just like that, they fall into reaction mode instead of creation mode. Distraction first thing in the morning is dangerous. It doesn't just waste time, it sets a tone of weakness. It invites the outside world to decide how you feel. And the moment you allow that, you lose control over your emotions, your thoughts, and your time. Most people don't even realize this is happening. They do it out of habit. But habits, especially morning habits, can either break you or build you. When you wake up with purpose, the day feels different. You feel calm because you're not rushing. You feel confident because you're not starting the day responding to other people's noise. You create space to think. You create direction. You create energy. The morning becomes your time. You decide how you want to think, how you want to feel, and what you want to build. Purpose in the morning means clarity. It means knowing why you're getting out of bed. Not just to survive the day, not just to go through the motions, but to grow, to push yourself, to move one step closer to something that matters. That's not just an idea. That's a plan. Because once you have purpose, your actions become more intentional. You stop guessing. You stop drifting. You start choosing. If you're not choosing how your morning goes, something else is choosing it for you. That could be your phone, your email, the news, or someone else's drama. And if those things take control first, you'll spend the rest of the day chasing. You'll feel behind, stressed, unfocused, unmotivated. Not because the day is hard, but because you didn't start it right. It only takes a few small actions to turn your morning around. Wake up earlier than you need to. Give yourself quiet time. Don't grab your phone. Don't check the news. Sit in silence. Think. Ask yourself, what do I want from today? What is one thing I must do that truly matters? What is the one task I will not avoid today? Write that down. See it. Commit to it. That's purpose. The brain is sharpest in the first hour of the day. That's when your attention is strongest. That's when your thinking is most clear. You've got to take advantage of that. If you waste that window, you waste your best mental energy. That first hour could be the most important 60 minutes of your entire day. But most people throw it away scrolling or reacting to things that don't push them forward. If you want to grow, you need a better start. Not a harder start, a better one. It doesn't mean packing your morning with 20 tasks. It means choosing a few meaningful actions that set the right tone. It could be journaling your thoughts. It could be reviewing your goals. It could be planning your time, or reading a few pages of something educational. Simple things, but powerful ones. If your first action in the morning is to consume meaningless content, you're training your brain to be distracted. If your first action is to check what everyone else is doing, You're training yourself to care more about their lives than your own. You need to flip that. Your morning must be about you, not in a selfish way, but in a responsible way. Because if you don't take care of yourself first, you won't be any good for anyone else the rest of the day. Build a routine that protects your morning. Go to bed a little earlier, so you can wake up with intention. Set things up the night before if you have to. Lay out your clothes. Prepare your schedule. That way when the morning comes, you're not stumbling around looking for motivation. You're ready. Because nothing good starts by accident. It starts with preparation. It starts with a decision. And this isn't about being perfect. Some mornings you'll wake up late. No mornings your energy will be low. That's human. But the goal isn't perfection. It's consistency. Show up for yourself, even if it's only 15 minutes. Even if all you do is sit down and breathe and plan one thing. That's enough to create purpose. And purpose builds momentum. You can't control everything that happens in a day, but you can control how you begin. You can control how you enter the day. That part is yours. That part is your responsibility. And if you get that part right, the rest of the day has a better chance of falling into place. Don't underestimate what a solid start can do. It affects your mood, your focus, your energy, your confidence. When you start strong, you carry that strength into everything else. You stop procrastinating. You stop doubting. You stop making excuses. You become the kind of person who leads, not just reacts. And that feeling you get when you know you've taken control of your morning, that feeling is priceless. That's where real confidence comes from. Not from a title, not from approval, not from likes or followers, from knowing you are doing what needs to be done, even when no one's watching. That's how you create a winning day, not by chance, but by choice. Not by following whatever grabs your attention, but by directing your attention toward what matters. You don't need a perfect life. You need better mornings. You need to start each day with a reason. You need to stop giving your best hour to things that don't deserve it. It's not too late to change how your mornings look. And when you change your morning, you change your day, you change your direction. And over time, you change your entire life. It all begins with one decision. Start your day with purpose, not distraction. Number 2, guard your time like it's your last dollar. Time is not something you get back. Once it's spent, it's gone. You don't get a refund, you don't get an extension, and no one's going to hand you extra hours because you were busy. That's why it's so important to treat your time with care. Most people spend time like it has no value and then wonder why their lives don't change. If someone gave you your last dollar and said, make it count, you wouldn't throw it away. You'd think hard before spending it. You'd make sure it was used for something that mattered. That's how you need to treat your hours. Every single one of them. Look at your calendar. Look at how your days are filled. Is your time being used on things that push you forward? Or is it getting eaten up by things that drain you? People will take your time if you don't protect it. Distractions will eat it. Meaningless conversations will steal it. Laziness will waste it. If you don't say no to the things that don't matter, you'll never have enough room for the things that do. People think being busy means being productive. It doesn't. A packed schedule means nothing if it's full of the wrong activities. You can work all day and get nowhere if you're spending time on the wrong tasks. Your time needs to go where your priorities are. You've got goals. You've got to show it in how you use your hours. It's easy to talk about dreams. It's harder to organize your day around them. Every invitation, every phone call, every meeting, every decision costs time. And each time you say yes to one thing, you say no to something else. That trade-off is real. If you give your time to gossip, you take it away from learning. If you give your time to scrolling, you steal it from planning. If you give your time to people who don't respect your vision, you rob it from your progress. That's how most people lose their days. One small, careless decision at a time. You've got to be selective, not rude, not cold, just clear. Clear about what matters. Clear about what deserves your energy. You don't owe everyone your attention. You don't have to answer every message right away. You don't need to accept every request. If something doesn't align with your goals, it's okay to let it go. That's not selfish, that's responsible. People who value their time move differently. They plan ahead. They block off space for deep work. They don't let interruptions control their schedule. They set limits, and they keep those limits strong. Not because they're harsh, but because they've learned what it costs to live without structure. They've felt the pain of wasted time. They've seen the damage of putting everyone else's needs first, and they don't want to go back to that life. If you want to grow, your time has to be spent wisely. Start tracking it. Write down what you do every hour for a few days. Be honest. You'll start to see patterns. You'll see how often you check your phone, how long you sit without focus, how quickly one distraction leads to another. That awareness is powerful. It gives you a chance to adjust. Don't rely on memory to keep your time in check. Use a schedule. Write down your tasks. Assign time blocks. If it's not on the calendar, it's probably not getting done. That's just how the mind works. Structure gives clarity, and clarity gives you the power to focus. Now here's something else to understand. Time is emotional. When you don't feel in control of your time, you feel stressed. You feel overwhelmed. You feel like life is running you instead of you running life. That anxiety doesn't come from being busy. It comes from not being intentional. When you use time with purpose, peace returns. You don't feel rushed. You feel prepared. You don't feel lost. You feel grounded. And if you're surrounded by people who don't respect your time, you have to make change. If they constantly interrupt, distract, or guilt you into spending your hours on things that don't matter, you're gonna pay the price. Sometimes guarding your time means having uncomfortable conversations. Sometimes it means walking away, not out of anger, but because your future is worth more than temporary approval. Don't underestimate what you can do with a focused hour. One deep, focused hour is worth more than 5 distracted ones. That's how real progress is made, not in long, drawn-out efforts, but in sharp, deliberate action. If you give your full mind to something important, for even a short time, you'll move forward faster than most people who stay busy all day doing nothing that matters. Start treating time like a limited resource. Because it is. You can always make more money. You can never make more time. The clock is always ticking. You don't feel it until you start losing it. One day you'll look back and realize you were never short on time. You just didn't treat it like it mattered. And that realization either builds you or breaks you, depending on what you do next. You've got to stop giving your best hours to things that bring no return. You've got to stop putting important tasks off because something urgent popped up. Urgent and important are not the same. Learn the difference. Urgent things scream the loudest. Important things matter the most. Don't let noise win over value. And don't confuse rest with waste. Rest is necessary. You need recovery. You need quiet. You need fun. But plan it. Protect it. Let it be intentional. Rest isn't the enemy of productivity. Distraction is. Laziness is. Regret it. If you've used your time well, you'll enjoy rest without guilt. If you've thrown your time away, even rest feels uncomfortable. You don't need to work all the time. But when you are working, be all in. When you're learning, give it your full attention. When you're building something, block out the noise. You don't get extraordinary results with average effort spread across 10 useless tasks. You get results by guarding your hours like they matter. Because they do. Every minute you protect, every hour you focus, adds up. It adds up to skill. It adds up to progress. It adds up to the kind of life you're proud to live. Most people let life push them around, but a few people take charge of their time, and those are the people who rise. Number 3, turn idle time into learning time. There are moments throughout every day when you're not really doing anything. Waiting in line, sitting in traffic, taking a break, walking from one place to another. These little pockets of time might seem small, but they add up quickly. Most people ignore them or fill them with distractions. They scroll through social media, check pointless updates, or just sit there with no aim. That's wasted opportunity. Those small idle moments can be used to feed your mind, sharpen your thinking, and stretch your understanding. When you start turning those in-between moments into learning time, something shifts. You begin to value your own growth more than temporary entertainment. You start to feel stronger mentally, more capable, more aware, more ahead. Because while the rest of the world is burning time, you're building knowledge. And knowledge becomes the tool you use to change your circumstances. It doesn't take hours of study to grow. You don't need to lock yourself in a library. It can be 5 minutes here, 10 minutes there. That's enough to plant an idea. Enough to spark a new thought. Enough to gain insight that can guide your next step. Learning isn't about volume. It's about consistency. It's about deciding that your brain deserves better than mindless input. There's a reason some people stay ahead in life. They don't wait for a classroom. They don't wait for a teacher. They use the world around them as their education. They read on the go. They listen to audiobooks. They reflect during their downtime. They ask questions when others are silent. They know that every day gives them chances to improve. And they grab those chances without excuse. Idle time is a choice. What you do with those empty minutes reveals how serious you are about your growth. If you want more out of life, you have to give more to your mind. There are hundreds of ways to fill that space with something meaningful. Listen to a podcast that challenges your thinking. Read an article that teaches a skill. Watch a short video on something valuable. Carry a book. Keep notes. Review your goals. Study a subject you've been avoiding. The key is staying intentional. You can't improve your knowledge by accident. You need a plan. Ask yourself, what do I want to learn this month? What skill do I want to build? What topic am I curious about? Once you have that answer, start collecting resources. Download materials, subscribe to channels. Carry information with you wherever you go. That way, when you have a few spare minutes, you don't waste time deciding what to do. You already know. People say they don't have time to learn. That's not true. What they don't have is awareness of how much time they're throwing away. Look at your phone usage. Track your distractions. Pay attention to how often you're waiting for something and doing nothing with that moment. The time is there, you just have to claim it. The most successful people don't separate learning from living. They blend the two. They're learning while commuting, learning during breaks, learning during exercise. Every open slot becomes a window to grow. And over time, those short moments compound. They turn into new skills, stronger thinking, sharper instincts. You don't notice it right away, but one day you look up and realize your thoughts are clearer. Your conversations are deeper. Your decisions are better. This doesn't mean you never rest. Rest is important, but rest should refresh you, not drain your mind. If all you do in your downtime is consume empty content, you're not resting, you're dulling your edge. Learning is a way to stay alive inside. It keeps you sharp. It keeps you engaged. It gives you something to look forward to beyond routine. You don't need to make huge changes to begin. Start small. Replace 5 minutes of scrolling with 5 minutes of reading. Swap one episode of nonsense with something that teaches. Instead of walking around with music that numbs you, try listening to something that stretches your thinking. Turn your car into a classroom. Turn your break room into a space to reflect. Carry questions in your mind. Be curious. Ask yourself, what can I learn right now? That simple question can reshape your entire relationship with time. Once you get into this habit, idle time becomes exciting. You stop seeing it as wasted space. You start seeing it as a gift, a quiet chance to get better when nobody's watching. That's powerful, because most of the world is asleep to the idea that growth can happen anywhere, anytime. You become different. You become someone who refuses to let time slip through your fingers, unnoticed. And here's something else to remember. The things you learn during idle time often stick better. Your mind is open. It's relaxed. It's not under pressure. That's the best time for ideas to take root. You might read one paragraph that changes how you think. Hear one sentence that solves a problem. Discover one strategy that makes your next task easier. Learning doesn't have to be long to be life-changing. It just has to be consistent. There's nothing magical about people who get ahead in life. They don't have more talent. They don't have more intelligence. They just refuse to waste time. They use what they have. They stay hungry for growth. And they never believe that learning only happens in big blocks. They understand that every free minute is a chance to gain ground. You've got a choice every day. Let the empty time stay empty, or use it to build something real. You can walk through life half aware, half engaged, or you can stay alert. You can stay open. You can stay growing. The more you fill those idle moments with purpose, the more you realize how much time you really have. Time was never the problem. The problem was how it was being used. And when you start living this way, others will notice. You'll speak with more depth. You'll have more ideas. You'll see solutions faster. People will ask, how do you know all this? And the answer will be simple. You used your time. You didn't let it slip by. You turned waiting into winning. You turned silence into knowledge. You turned everyday moments into something extraordinary. Number 4, set specific hours for work that matters. One of the most powerful decisions you can make for your future is deciding exactly when you'll do the things that matter most. Not someday, not when you feel like it, not when life slows down, but during set, specific hours that you protect with discipline. Because if your most important work doesn't have a time slot, it usually doesn't happen. It gets pushed to later, then later again, and eventually forgotten. That's how goals get left behind. That's how potential never turns into achievement. When you don't define when you'll work on your goals, everything else creeps in. Urgent problems take over. Distractions find a way in. People pull your attention in every direction. But when you carve out a block of time, clear, committed, and focused, you draw a line. You tell yourself and the world, this time belongs to what matters most. Too many people wait for the perfect time. They wait to feel motivated. They wait for a break in their schedule. But waiting is a trap. Life doesn't hand out perfect moments. You have to make time. You have to look at your calendar and say, this is the hour I work on my dream. Not just once a week. Every day if you can. At the same time, in the same place, with the same focus. Structure beats willpower. When you know exactly when you'll work, you don't have to make the decision every day. It's already made. That saves energy. That reduces resistance. That builds momentum. You wake up, and you already know what the plan is. No guessing. No hoping. Just doing. And over time, that structure builds trust with yourself. You start to believe in your consistency. You start to rely on your own discipline. Pick the time of day when you have the most energy. That might be early morning before the noise starts. It might be late at night when everything slows down. It doesn't matter when, as long as it's consistent. You want your mind to start recognizing, this is my work hour. That recognition triggers focus. It helps you shift into a different level of attention. Your brain starts to prepare for deep effort. Keep that time sacred. Don't answer calls. Don't check messages. Don't multitask. Give it your full presence. 1 hour of pure focus is more valuable than 3 hours of scattered effort. When you're fully locked in, you make better decisions. You produce better results. You grow faster. That's how real progress is made. Through short, powerful bursts of full effort. Done again and again. Let others know about your dedicated work time. Let your family know. Let your friends know. Let your team know. That way they respect it too. They understand that this isn't free time. It's not casual time. It's your mission time. And if they care about your success, they'll support it. If they don't, then it becomes even more important that you protect it. Make your environment match your goal. Clear the space. Remove anything that pulls you away from your task. Keep only what you need in front of you. A clean environment supports a focused mind. Don't underestimate how much your surroundings influence your habits. Even small changes can help you go deeper. Fast. Track what you do during those set hours. At the end of each session, write down what you accomplished. That helps you stay accountable. It also helps you adjust. You'll begin to notice which tasks drain your energy and which ones build it. You'll learn how much you can get done when you're truly focused. That awareness gives you control. Use a timer if you have to. Work for 50 minutes, then rest for 10 or 90 minutes with a short break. Whatever helps you stay consistent. The goal isn't to burn yourself out. The goal is to stay steady, to build a habit that lasts longer than a mood. Because when habits take root, results start showing up without needing constant motivation. Be honest about what matters. Not everything that feels urgent is actually important. There are tasks that make you feel busy, but don't move you forward. Then there are tasks that seem small but shift everything. Use your best hours for those important tasks. The ones that build your future. The ones that align with your goal. The ones that make you uncomfortable because they stretch you. Don't overbook yourself. Set one clear goal for that work time. Just one. Not 5 things. Not a long checklist. One important action that if completed would bring real progress. That focus increases the chances you'll finish it. That's how you build confidence. You said you'd do it, and you did. That keeps the fire alive. Start small if you have to. Even 30 minutes of focused work every day is powerful. You don't need long hours to build something great. You just need honest, uninterrupted time. Time that belongs to your growth. Time that isn't shared with distractions. Time that stands apart from the noise of the world. Be patient with yourself. Some will be harder than others. Some sessions won't feel productive. That's okay. Keep showing up. The habit is what matters most in the beginning. The results will follow. What counts is that you kept your promise to yourself. You honored the time. You treated your goals like they deserved a place in your day. The truth is, most people don't reach their potential, not because they lack time, but because they don't use it intentionally. They work hard, but not smart. They stay busy, but not focused. They try to do everything, but never carve out time for the few things that actually move the needle. You can change that. You can be different. You can make your hours count. Not in theory, but in real measurable progress. Your life changes when you start treating your important work like a non-negotiable part of your day, like eating, like sleeping, like breathing. It becomes a core part of who you are. That's when everything starts to align. Your thoughts, your schedule, your actions, all pointing in the same direction. That's the power of setting specific hours for work that matters. It puts you in control. It gives your dreams a place to grow. It turns intention into reality, one focused hour at a time. Number 5, cut out activities that steal your life. There are things you do every day that quietly take your time, your energy, and your focus, and give you nothing in return. They don't help you grow. They don't bring you peace. They don't move you closer to your goals. Yet you do them anyway, out of habit. That's how life gets stolen. Not in some big dramatic event, but in small moments wasted over and over again. If you want to live on purpose, you've got to take a hard look at the things you allow into your day. Time is not just something you spend, it's something you invest. Every hour you use goes somewhere, and not every destination is worth it. If you're spending hours on things that leave you tired, distracted, or regretful, that's a sign that something needs to change. Because a day filled with pointless activities becomes a week, then a month, then a year. And before long, you're asking yourself, where did the time go? Start noticing the patterns. Look at your day honestly. Ask yourself, what do I do that leaves me feeling worse? What do I keep doing even though I know it adds no value? It might be scrolling through endless posts, watching videos that don't teach you anything, engaging in gossip, complaining about things you don't plan to fix, saying yes to things that waste your time just to avoid discomfort. These things seem harmless. They feel small in the moment. But when added up, they cost you the life you say you want. You can't build a better future if you keep feeding the habits that hold you back. It's not about being perfect. It's about being aware. Because once you see what's draining your time, you can start reclaiming it. Cutting out time-wasting activities isn't about being strict for the sake of it. It's about creating space for what actually matters. When you remove the things that steal your attention, you get your mind back, you get your energy back, you get clarity. And in that clarity, you find room to think, to plan, to act. There's no shortage of things that will eat your time if you let them. Apps are designed to keep you hooked. Platforms are built to pull you back in. And if you're not paying attention, they'll pull you off track without you realizing. You might tell yourself it's only 5 minutes, but 5 minutes turns into 30, then into hours, then into a missed opportunity. And that happens day after day. Unless you interrupt the pattern. Make a list, not of what you want to do, but of what you need to stop doing. Write down the things you know are wasting your life. Be honest, be specific, then commit to cutting them down. Maybe not all at once, but little by little. Every time you choose to turn away from a worthless habit, you give that moment back to yourself. And those moments, collected, start to build something better. You don't need anyone's permission to reclaim your time. You don't need approval to say, this doesn't serve me anymore. Your time is yours. You're allowed to protect it. You're allowed to be unavailable for nonsense. You're allowed to step back from things that don't align with the person you want to become. Some activities don't just waste time, they dull your drive. They make you feel lazy, foggy, unmotivated. That's not a small price. Your energy matters. You can't bring your best self to your goals if you're drained by things that don't matter. It's not just about the hours you lose. It's about the spark you lose along with them. You'll have to deal with discomfort. You'll feel bored at first. You'll feel tempted to go back to your old habits. That's normal. But discomfort isn't a sign to stop. It's a sign you're doing something new. And anything worth building takes time. You can handle the boredom. You can handle the pull. The more you resist it, the stronger you get. Replace the useless with the useful. Don't just delete the bad habits. Fill that space with something better. Use that time to reflect, to learn, to connect, to build. Even resting with intention is better than mindless activity. Rest that recharges you, not numbs you. Quiet that gives you peace, not restlessness. And the truth is, cutting out time-wasting activities is not just about work. It's about becoming someone you respect. Someone who values life enough not to waste it. Someone who chooses meaning over ease. Someone who understands that time is the one thing you don't get back. Every second counts. Not because you're in a rush, but because you know how valuable this life really is. Don't wait until you've lost years to realize what was stolen. Decide now. Decide that your hours are too precious to be given away to things that give you nothing in return. Cut the noise. Cut the nonsense. Make space for something real. Something that grows you. Something that brings you closer to the person you want to be. Every time you stop yourself from doing what steals your time, you're taking one step toward a better future. You're telling yourself, I'm serious about my goals. You're proving that your actions match your word. And in a world full of distractions, that discipline makes you rare. That focus makes you powerful. And that consistency turns ordinary days into something extraordinary. Number 6, make time for exercise and energy. Your body is the only place you have to live. You can have all the dreams, plans, and intentions in the world, but without energy, you won't follow through. That's why one of the most valuable uses of your time every single day is taking care of your health. Not just when you're sick, not just when you feel guilty, every day. Because when your body is strong, your mind is clearer. When your energy is up, your drive increases. And when you feel well physically, everything else gets easier to handle. You don't need to spend hours in the gym. You don't need to train like an athlete. What you need is consistency. You need to move your body. You need to stretch it, use it, challenge it. It can be a brisk walk, a short home workout, climbing stairs, or doing squats in your living room. What matters is that you choose movement over stillness. When you move with purpose, you signal to yourself that you matter, that your health matters, that your life is worth showing up for fully. People often say they don't have time for exercise. But look closely. Time is not missing, it's just being used somewhere else. You might be using that time to scroll, to sit idle, to engage in things that don't refuel you. If something drains your energy but takes your time, it's not a good trade. Exercise gives back. It sharpens your focus. It lifts your mood. It helps you sleep better, think better, feel better. It's not a waste of time, it's a wise investment. Energy is the fuel behind every goal you set. Without it, your motivation fades. Without it, your attitude declines. Without it, your effort weakens. That's why protecting and building your energy is not optional. It's essential. Your energy is like your daily budget. If you don't manage it well, you'll run out before the day is halfway through. Exercise is how you refill that budget. It resets your system. It breaks tension. It helps release the pressure that builds up from daily stress. Your time means nothing if you don't have the energy to use it well. You can plan out your day with the best intentions, but if your body is tired and sluggish, you won't follow through. That's why even 10 minutes of movement can change the entire direction of your day. You return to your work more focused. You feel more capable. You walk back to your tasks with better posture, stronger presence, and renewed confidence. When you neglect your body, you slowly fall behind in every area of life. You might not notice it right away, but over time you'll feel the weight. You'll feel the fog in your brain. You'll notice the stiffness in your muscles. You'll struggle to stay positive because your system is tired. And a tired body can't lead a strong life. Taking care of your body isn't selfish. It's one of the most generous things you can do for yourself and for the people around you. When you have more energy, you show up better. You listen more, you care more, you have more patience, more clarity, and more emotional control. That means better decisions, better conversations, better outcomes. You don't just benefit yourself, you raise the quality of every interaction. There's a link between physical movement and personal discipline. When you commit to moving every day, you train yourself to follow through. You build the mental habit of doing something, whether you feel like it or not. That carries over into every area of your life. You stop waiting to feel ready. You stop negotiating with laziness. You become someone who does what needs to be done. That identity gives you power. Make time in your schedule. Don't wait to find time. That almost never works. Decide that even if it's just 20 minutes, that block of time belongs to your physical health. Treat it like an appointment. Protect it the way you'd protect your most important meetings. You wouldn't cancel on your boss. Don't cancel on yourself. There's a mental shift that happens when you move your body on purpose. You start believing again in your ability to change. You realize you're not stuck. You feel in control. And that belief, that physical proof of progress, fuels you. You look in the mirror and see someone who's taking charge. You feel your heartbeat. And remember that you're alive. You breathe deeper and feel calmer. These aren't little things. They're the roots of growth. Eating right, staying hydrated, and sleeping enough also play a role. But exercise is where it often begins. Because movement is action. Action leads to more action. It breaks the cycle of inaction. That's why one good workout can change your mindset. It's not about the calories. It's about proving to yourself that you can start, that you can finish, and that you can improve. Those small wins build trust with yourself. You don't have to wait until you're in shape to begin. Begin where you are, as you are. You don't need fancy clothes or equipment. You just need a reason. And if your future, your health, your energy, and your life aren't reason enough, ask yourself what you've been waiting for. Because no one else can take care of your body for you. That's your job. And it's one of the most important ones you'll ever have. Your goals need you to be alive, art, and able. And that starts with making the time to build the kind of energy that lasts. That starts with moving your body like it matters. That starts with putting your health on your schedule, not just your to-do list. You don't need more time. You need more movement. You need more strength. You need more self-respect to say, my energy is worth making time for. When you do that, every area of your life gets better. You begin each day not behind, but ahead. You walk into challenges not tired, but strong. You live not on autopilot, but with power. Number 7, keep a daily log. What did I really do? One of the most honest and powerful things you can do for your life is to keep a written record of how you actually spent your day. Not how you planned to spend it, not how you wished you had spent it, but what you really did, hour by hour. Because the truth is, people often misjudge their own use of time. We think we were productive, but when we go back and examine it, we realize a large portion of the day was spent doing things that didn't move us forward. You can't change what you don't track, and you can't improve what you won't admit. That's where a daily log comes in. It's not about guilt. It's about clarity. Write it all down. Be specific. Be honest. What time did you wake up? How long did you spend on your phone before you got out of bed? How much time did you really spend on your most important task? Did you follow through on what you said you'd do? Or did you let the day drift? This kind of record keeping doesn't need to be complicated. A small notebook, a digital app, a spreadsheet. What matters is not how fancy the system is. What matters is that you consistently track your time with sincerity. When you write things down, you can't lie to yourself as easily. It shows you the truth. You can look at a page at the end of the day and see what actually happened. Not what you hoped, not what you imagined, but what took place. Did the hours go toward your goals? Did your actions line up with your values? You won't always like the answer, and that's good. That discomfort is what pushes you to change. This simple act teaches discipline. It teaches self-awareness. It makes you more mindful of what you say yes to. Because when you know you'll be writing it down later, you start thinking twice before wasting time. You hold yourself to a higher standard. Not because someone is watching, but because you're watching. You become your own accountability partner. Now, you don't need to track every second of every day forever, but doing it for even 1 week will show you more about your habits than any motivational book ever could, because it forces you to face the fact. Most people don't want to do this because it's uncomfortable. It's easier to believe we're doing our best than to admit we wasted time. We'll never get back, but that honesty is the first step toward growth. You can't improve a vague plan. You can't adjust a mystery, but when it's clear, you can correct it. The act of logging your day also helps you catch patterns. You might start noticing that you're most alert in the early morning, or that your energy dips after lunch. You might realize that certain tasks take longer than you thought, or that small distractions are eating up large chunks of your time. These aren't random problems. They're patterns. And when you see the patterns, you can plan around them. Tracking your time also brings a deeper level of pride. When you look back at your log and see that you spent several focused hours on your goals, it feels good. It builds confidence. It tells you that you're not just busy. You're being effective. You're not just active. You're moving in the right direction. That feeling reinforces itself, and you want to keep going. You start to respect your own efforts more, and that leads to higher standards. Most people never stop to reflect on their own day. They just let it pass and hope tomorrow will be better. But better doesn't happen by chance. It happens by choice, and the choice begins with awareness. You can't steer your life if you don't even know where you're going. The log gives you a way to look at your life from the outside, to become a student of your own behavior, to understand what's working, what's not, and what needs to change. And it doesn't have to take long. Spend 5 to 10 minutes at the end of each day. Sit quietly and ask yourself, where did my time go today? Write it out. You don't have to write a novel, just enough to know the truth. Was today a step forward or a step sideways? Did I give attention to what matters? Did I waste too much on things that bring no return? When you begin doing this regularly, your life slowly starts to shift. You'll feel more in control. You'll catch yourself sooner when you're drifting. You'll notice how little things add up, both in the right direction and the wrong one. You'll develop a kind of mental sharpness that most people miss. Because while others are letting their days blur together, you're paying attention. You're not guessing. You're learning. You're adjusting. You're becoming stronger, more precise, more effective. This practice also helps you deal with regret. We all have days where we didn't do our best. But when you write it down, you don't hide from it. You grow from it. You tell yourself, today wasn't great, but I see where I went off track. That's powerful. That's how progress happens. Not from perfection, but from honest reflection. If you want to have a better month, it starts with better days, and better days come from better hours, and better hours come from better choices. But you can't make better choices if you don't know where your time is going. The log is your mirror. It doesn't lie. It doesn't sugarcoat. It simply shows you the truth. And from that truth, you gain the power to change. Keep your log close. Carry it if you can. Use it to plan, review, and learn. You don't need anyone else's permission. Just start. And once you start, keep at it. The process will shape you. The honesty will sharpen you. And little by little, you'll find yourself becoming the person you've been trying to be. Not because you hoped, but because you tracked it, faced it, and worked for it. Number 8. Spend time with people who inspire you. One of the most powerful decisions you can make for your growth is to be mindful of who you allow into your space. Time is limited, and how you spend it and with whom will either build you or break you. If you want to live a life of progress, if you want your days to be filled with purpose, then you have to make sure you're not spending hours with people who drain you, distract you, or slow you down. You must choose to spend more time around people who lift you up, who challenge your thinking, who encourage you to be better, and who are also working towards something meaningful in their own life. Look around you and ask yourself this simple question. Are the people I spend time with helping me grow? Do they bring energy into my life or take it out of me? Are they speaking words that help me stay focused? Or do they constantly complain and criticize? These questions matter because whether you realize it or not, the people you spend time with shape your habits, your mindset, your energy, and your standards. You become like the people you are around most often. You don't need 1,000 people. You just need a few strong ones. People who are honest with themselves, people who are striving to improve their health, their knowledge, their discipline, and their relationships. When you sit with someone who's been working hard, who's overcome challenges, who refuses to make excuses, you feel. You don't need them to give a speech. Their actions speak louder than anything else. Just being around that kind of mindset sharpens you. It wakes something up inside you. You begin to see what's possible. And that creates a sense of urgency to use your own time better. In contrast, when you spend hours around people who live without intention, who give up easily, who wait around for luck to change their lives, you slowly start to lower your own standards. You start thinking it's okay to waste a day. You start believing that doing just enough is acceptable. It's not always obvious. It creeps in quietly. But over time, you stop aiming higher because no one around you is pushing themselves either. That's why your circle is so important. Not because you need others to do the work for you, but because energy spreads. You don't need to cut everyone off. That's not what this is about. It's about awareness. You can still care about people without copying their habits. You can love someone and still decide not to spend 5 hours a week listening to their excuses. You have to protect your future. And part of that protection is choosing who gets your time. Your time is limited. Once an hour passes, you never get it back. You owe it to yourself to give more of those hours to people who inspire discipline, creativity, kindness, and progress. If you're around someone and you walk away feeling more focused, more motivated, more curious, that's someone worth keeping close. If you leave conversations feeling hopeful, challenged, and clear, that's the kind of interaction that feeds your growth. These people don't have to be rich or famous. They just need to be real. Real about their flaws, real about their goals, real about their willingness to grow. Surround yourself with those people. You don't need perfect people, you need honest, hardworking ones. Now, sometimes the people who inspire you aren't near you physically. That's okay. Inspiration isn't limited to your neighborhood. You can still connect with people through books, interviews, videos, and communities. The key is to be intentional. Fill your day with voices that sharpen your thinking. Spend 30 minutes listening to someone who has walked a harder road than you and came out stronger. Read something that makes you pause and question your own comfort zone. Call someone who tells you the truth, not just what you want to hear. And don't forget, your own energy matters too. You should also aim to be the kind of person others feel better around. Make your growth visible. Show people what consistency looks like. Let your actions speak louder than your opinions. Share what you've learned. Ask questions that matter. When you do that, you not only benefit from strong company, you become strong company. And when strong people gather, real change happens. The right people will remind you that discomfort is part of the process. They'll show you that staying up a little later to work on your dream is worth it. They'll prove to you that failure is not the end. It's just part of learning. You won't need to explain your ambition to them. They'll get it. They'll nod in agreement when you say you're cutting back on distractions. They'll tell you to keep going when you feel like giving up. And they'll hold you to the standard you said you wanted for yourself. Time is precious. Don't waste it sitting with people who only talk about others. Don't spend it with those who always see the worst in everything. Spend it with people who talk about ideas, who plan, who execute, who keep trying even after falling. If you want to become sharper, spend more time with people who are already cutting through the noise and doing the work. Watch how they move, listen to how they speak, learn how they think, and let that shape you. Every interaction is a small investment. You can invest your time in gossip, or you can invest it in growth. You can spend your evening with people who want to numb their reality, or you can spend it with people who are building a better one. You get to choose every single day. Be intentional. Make your hours count by choosing the company that makes you want to be more. That is one of the most powerful things you can do with your limited time. Number 9. Set a cutoff. Don't let the day drag. Every day is a gift, but it can easily turn into a trap if it stretches out endlessly without clear boundaries. When you allow your day to drag on without limits, you give yourself permission to wander aimlessly. It becomes harder to focus, energy fades, motivation thins. Your mind starts to wander, and before you know it, the hours slip away like water through your fingers. Setting a cutoff time is not just about managing your schedule. It's about protecting your energy and maintaining control over how your day ends. When the day has no clear finish line, it invites distractions to sneak in, one after another. Without a defined time to stop, you might find yourself scrolling on your phone when you should be resting. You may keep working past your best focus, which leads to burnout. You lose the power to decide when to close the chapter. This lack of control can lead to frustration, tiredness, and a sense that you never really accomplished enough. A cutoff time sets a clear boundary between work and rest. It signals to your mind that you've done what you set out to do, and now it's time to recharge. When you set this boundary, you are creating respect for your own time. You say to yourself, I deserve a break. I deserve to stop. This simple act of setting a stop time teaches discipline and self-respect. It creates balance. It helps your brain and body recover, so you're ready to perform well the next day. This boundary also sharpens your focus during the hours you've allocated. Knowing that there is a firm end time keeps you accountable. It pushes you to work with urgency and intention rather than drifting from task to task. When you know you only have until a certain hour, distractions become less attractive. Your brain stays alert because it understands the value of each remaining minute. Setting a cutoff time is not about rushing or stressing yourself out. It's about choosing when you will step away so you can return with full energy. It's like closing a book after finishing a chapter, allowing the story to pause before the next one begins. When the day drags on endlessly, it blurs the line between work and life, and that's where exhaustion grows. Choosing a cutoff time also allows you to develop a healthy evening routine. When you decide when your workday ends, you open the door to time for reflection, family, hobbies, or rest. These activities are essential for your well-being. They recharge your creativity and energy. Without a cutoff time, the evening can slip away, lost in meaningless tasks or distractions that don't add value to your life. A good cutoff time also helps reduce stress. When you know exactly when the work stops, you can plan the rest of your day with confidence. You don't have to keep worrying about unfinished tasks or deadlines looming over your head. This clarity calms the mind. It makes it easier to fall asleep at night and wake up refreshed in the morning. Deciding on a cutoff time requires commitment. It means you have to say no to certain tasks or interruptions after that time. Saying no is difficult for many people, but it is a skill that protects your energy and preserves your focus. You don't have to be available 24 hours a day. Your most productive self requires boundaries to thrive. Another benefit is that a cutoff time improves your overall productivity. When the day has a clear end, you're more likely to plan your activities carefully. You start prioritizing what matters most. You avoid spending hours on low-impact tasks that don't move you forward. This focused approach means that your work is higher quality and you get more done in less time. Cutoff times are also a tool for emotional balance. Working endlessly often leads to frustration, irritability, and burnout. These feelings harm your relationships and your minds. But when you honor a stopping point, you give yourself permission to rest emotionally as well. This rest allows you to return to your work or life challenges with a clearer, calmer mind. The habit of setting a cutoff time can grow into a routine that supports your goal. Over time, your mind and body learn to respect these limits, making it easier to transition between work and personal time. You become more aware of how your energy flows throughout the day, and you adjust accordingly. Keep in mind that the cutoff time you choose doesn't have to be the same every day. It can vary depending on your schedule, priorities, or unexpected events. The important thing is to be intentional. Make the decision ahead of time and stick to it, unless there is an urgent reason not to. Flexibility is fine as long as it doesn't become a habit that blurs your boundaries. The strength of a cutoff time comes from consistency. When you respect your boundary daily, it becomes part of your identity. You begin to see yourself as someone who controls their time, not someone controlled by it. This mindset change is powerful. It creates confidence and builds momentum for success. Sometimes people resist setting a cutoff time because they fear missing opportunities or falling behind. This fear can keep them trapped in endless work, but it's important to understand that overworking without breaks diminishes your effectiveness. It damages your health and creativity. You become less reliable, not more. Learning to say, "I'm done for today," is a form of strength. It shows you trust your process. It means you believe in the value of rest as part of your work. It means you respect your limits and are focused on long-term success rather than short-term busyness. Another way to support your cutoff time is by creating a closing ritual. This can be as simple as writing down what you accomplished, planning the next day, or tidying your workspace. These small habits signal to your brain that work is finished. They help you mentally disconnect and prepare for a fresh start tomorrow. Setting a cutoff time also encourages better decision-making throughout the day. Knowing you have a deadline, you learn to avoid procrastination and manage interruptions better. You develop a rhythm that supports both action and rest. Ultimately, a cutoff time protects your life beyond work. It gives you space for family, friends, hobbies, and rest. These areas are essential for your happiness and fulfillment. Without balance, success feels hollow. Time without boundaries becomes wasted time. And that's the opposite of living well. Respect your 24 hours by drawing clear lines around your day. Allow yourself to finish strong and then step away fully. Let your mind relax, your body recover, and your spirit recharge. That is how you honor your time and keep your days from dragging on without purpose. Number 10, repeat what works. Build daily consistency. There is a powerful secret in life that too many overlook. It's not about random bursts of energy or occasional hard work. Real progress comes from repeating the actions that bring results. This steady rhythm builds momentum that cannot be stopped. When you find something that works, sticking to it is your best path to success. Consistency is the bridge between where you are now and where you want to be. The first step is to identify which actions actually move you forward. Take a moment to honestly look at your days. What habits, what routines, what efforts yield the best results? Maybe it's reading every morning, writing a plan, exercising, or making sales calls. Pinpoint those activities that create value and growth. Once you see what works, make the choice to do those things regularly. Not just when you feel motivated, but every day. It's easy to get distracted by new ideas, shiny goals, or urgent demands that pull your attention away. But chasing every new thing without building on your proven actions scatters your energy. Focus on the few activities that produce the biggest impact, and make them your daily non-negotiables. Your consistency around these actions compounds like interest in a bank account. Each day you repeat them, your progress grows stronger and more reliable. Consistency is not always exciting. It doesn't have to feel dramatic or groundbreaking. Often it means showing up, doing the work, even when you don't feel like it. This discipline is where winners separate themselves from everyone else. When others quit, you keep going. When others delay, you stay committed. This daily effort shapes character, strengthens resolve, and builds confidence. Sometimes, the biggest obstacle to consistency is the mind telling you it's too small or too slow to matter. You might think, doing this same thing again won't change anything. That's exactly where your mind lies. The truth is, greatness is built through repeated small action. It's the daily decisions, the regular steps that add up to transformation. If you keep changing your routine every day, you never give your efforts time to grow. But repeating proven actions lets your results accumulate. Consistency also creates clarity. When you follow the same path daily, you learn more about what works and what doesn't. You gather feedback, adjust, and improve. Your actions become smarter. You gain control over your journey rather than drifting in confusion. This focus sharpens your mind and your skills. Building daily consistency means making your habits automatic. It means structuring your environment and schedule to support your chosen actions. When something becomes a natural part of your day, it no longer feels like a burden. It becomes a part of who you are. This is how success becomes sustainable. Another part of consistency is patience. Results don't always come immediately. Some efforts take weeks, months, or even years to show their full effect. If you rush or give up too soon, you rob yourself of the reward. Trusting the process and repeating what works over time is the key to breakthroughs. Your future depends on the small steps you take today, every day. Emotions will fluctuate. Some days you will feel motivated and others tired or distracted. On those tougher days, The habit of consistency is your anchor. It's the practice of doing what you know you must do, even when it's difficult. This is how discipline grows. Discipline is the power that carries you through resistance and challenge. Consistency in your daily actions builds confidence. As you see steady progress, no matter how small, you prove to yourself that you are capable. This self-trust strengthens your belief in your potential. It gives you energy to keep pushing further. Confidence built on consistent effort is unshakable. Tracking your progress can help maintain consistency. Writing down what you did each day, reviewing wins, and noting areas to improve reinforces your commitment. It turns vague goals into concrete achievement. Celebrating small victories fuels motivation to continue. This cycle creates a positive habit loop that supports long-term success. It's important to focus on quality as well as quantity. Repeating what works means refining your actions, not just doing them mindlessly. Evaluate your efforts regularly and look for ways to improve. Growth comes not only from repetition but from thoughtful adjustment and learning. This balance ensures your actions remain effective and aligned with your goals. Consistency doesn't mean you can't adapt or try new things. It means you have a strong foundation built on daily habits that work. From this stable base, you can explore new opportunities without losing your footing. Consistency provides the structure needed to embrace change with confidence. Building consistency also means protecting your time and energy. Avoid distractions that pull you away from your core activities. Guard your daily routine like a treasure, because it holds the key to your future. When distractions come, remind yourself of the value in sticking to what works. One of the greatest benefits of daily consistency is the way it changes your mindset. Instead of hoping for success to happen, you become a person who creates success through action. This mindset shift is powerful. It frees you from waiting for perfect conditions and puts you in charge of your life. People who build daily consistency often find they experience less stress. The routines create predictability in an unpredictable world. They reduce chaos by focusing on what matters. This clarity makes it easier to handle challenges and keep moving forward. Another truth is that consistent action builds momentum. Once you get moving, the process becomes easier. Your efforts gain energy and speed. This momentum can carry you through setbacks and tough days. Momentum is a gift earned by those who refuse to stop. When you commit to repeating what works every day, you build a lifestyle of success. This lifestyle supports your dreams, health, relationships, and finances. It's not a short-term fix, but a way of living that brings lasting results. Your actions become habits, and your habits become your future. Finally, remember that consistency requires commitment to yourself. It means valuing your potential and investing daily in your growth. The journey is long, but every day you repeat what works, you are building a life that reflects your highest purpose. This commitment shapes your destiny. The greatest leaders, athletes, and achievers all have one thing in common. They mastered the art of daily consistency. You can do the same. Take control of your 24 hours by focusing on what works and repeating it without fail. In this, you will find power, progress, and peace.